guys, good morning, good afternoon and good evening. Today we are going to talk about fertilization in human being. There are many changes in male as well as a female during puberty. And also we are going to discuss about the menstrual cycle, and also we are going to talk about fertilization, which involves the development of fetal from egg to the fetus, and how the changes taking place, and after delivery of the babies, what are the changes taking place in the female body. We move on to our topic, and before going to our topic, please subscribe my channel and it will be very helpful, and I provide the notes below my videos. Please subscribe it and see the notes regarding the following lectures.
Today we are going to talk about fertilization in human. Now, fertilization in human, first we have to talk about gametogenesis. What are the gametes present in human being? Now, gametes present in male is called sperm and present in female is called ovum. The formation of the sperm in male and the ovum in female is called gametogenesis. What it means is that gametogenesis, the name itself is involved. Genesis means formation, gameto means gametes. So the formation of the gametes is called the gametogenesis, whereas in male it is called as sperm, whereas in female it is called as ovum. It involves the spermatogenesis, the formation of spermatozoa, and oogenesis, the formation of ova. Gametes with haploid cells are produced through gametogenesis. You should know about what are haploid cells and diploid cells. Haploid cells are cells which consist of one set of chromosome. Diploid cells are cells which consist of two set of chromosome. Generally, a normal cells will always consist of two set of chromosome, whereas only the sex cells or the reproductive cells consist of haploid to make the stability of the chromosome, because when male and female gametes fuse to form ovum, the stability of the chromosome should be considered. So that is why the two haploid cell, when it get fused, it form a diploid cells to maintain the stability of the chromosome. So always remember, this is a very important question every time they ask. Now we move to structure of human sperm. The structure of human sperm, they always ask this diagram as a 3-mark question, or they will ask as the labeling of the structure, or they may ask as a function of the parts which are present in the human sperm. Human sperm consists of 3 parts. One is head, midpiece, tail. Now, midpiece consists of n number of mitochondria. Mitochondria is essential for energy, and tail is used for, or it is for the purpose of motility or the movement of sperm over the female body. Now, it consists of head, acrosome and nucleus. What it consists of, we will see. The spermatozoa consists of head, middle piece and tail. The sperm head is elongated, formed by the condensation of nucleus. The anterior portion has like a cap-like a structure called acrosome. It contains the hyaluronidase enzyme. This enzyme is very important. Why? Because it will dissolve the outer layer of the ovum during the fertilization, which will help to enter the sperm into the ovum cell. Now, a short neck connects the head and middle piece, which comprises the centrioles. What it means is that there is a neck position and it consists of centrioles. This centrioles is always used, or this is for the purpose of completion of the division in ovum, because in ovum it will be paused, and that is to enhance the completion or to complete the division of the ovum. This centrioles will help. Now we move to the middle piece. Middle piece contains of mitochondria, which provides energy for the movement of tail. It brings about the sperm motility, which is essential for fertilization. Obviously, this sperm motility is very important. Why? Because this sperm will allow to move through the female reproductive part. It will enter to the isthmus region where the ovum is present, and there it takes place the fertilization. Till that, this motility is needed, and this motility is compensated by this mitochondria. Now, there will be a question. N number of sperms will enter the female reproductive structure. But why there's only a one chance? Why? Because all the sperm cells will not move. They have the certain range, or they will have certain energy to move over female genital body. Now this movement will enhance, or this will complete only one sperm or maybe 2 or 3 sperm. So there is a chance of it. Now there will be a question, how the twins are formed. Twins are formed when this sperm simultaneously 2 sperms enter the ova is lead to formation of twins. Now we move to the structure of ovum. The mature ovum or egg is in spherical in shape. The ovum is almost free of yolk. It contains abundant cytoplasm and the nucleus. The ovum is surrounded by 3 membranes. The plasma membrane is surrounded by inner thin zona pellucida and outer thick corona radiata. The corona radiata is formed by follicle cells. The membrane forming the surface layer of the ovum is called vitelline membrane. The fluid filled space between zona pellucida and the surface of the egg is called previtelline space. So this is the structure of the ovum. This is why important, because when you study the fertilization, then you will understand the logic behind, the concept behind the formation of ovum or egg by fusion of sperm and ova. Now puberty. Puberty is why important, because not all at all ages they cannot produce egg. It has certain age, or they have the maturity level in male as well as in female, but different ages. The reproductive system in both male and female becomes functional and increase in sex production resulting in puberty. This phenomenon tends to start earlier in female than in male. Generally, boys attain puberty between the age of 13 to 14 years, while the girls reach puberty between 11 to 13 years. In male, the onset of puberty is triggered by the secretion of the hormone testosterone in the testes. The female, the secretion of estrogen and progesterone from the ovary. The secretion of both male and female hormone are under the control of the pituitary gonadotropin utilizing hormone and the follicle stimulating hormone. Now we move to menstrual cycle. This is very important question they ask. Related to menstrual cycle, they will ask at least one question. Now what is menstrual cycle? It is a cyclic event that takes place in rhythmic fashion during the reproductive period of woman's life. Is called menstrual cycle. In human female, the menstrual cycle start at the age of 11 to 13 years, which marks the onset of puberty and is called menarche. Menarche is nothing but it's the starting of the menstrual cycle, and ceases is stop around 48 to 50 years of age, and this stage is termed as menopause. Menopause and menarche varies over the individuality. The reproductive period is marked by a characteristic event repeated almost every month in physiological normal movement, that is 28 days, with minor variation in the flow of menstrual cycle. And remember that absence of menstrual cycle is a sign of pregnancy. Now this is a very important. What are the phases taking place during this menstrual cycle? Now menstrual cycle consists of 4 phases. One is menstrual phases, another one is follicular phases, and ovulatory phases, and luteal phases. This is a good representation of phases. Why? Because most of the students, they get confused. This you will find some reddish layer, that is the uterus layer, like how the thickness of the uterus vary over the cycle, and this is the hormones, that is follicle stimulant hormone, then luteinizing hormone, estrogen, progesterone. So these are the hormones changing over the menstrual cycle. Now follicular phases and luteal phases, and we have 4 phases. One is menstrual phases, then follicular phases, then ovulatory phases. Ovulatory phases just 14th day of the menstrual cycle. Now luteal phases is from 15th to 28th day. So just always connect with the drawing as well as this chart. Now what is a menstrual phase? It goes from 4 to 5 days. Development of primary follicles and breakdown of the uterine endometrial lining lead to bleeding. So there's a bleeding. So what happened? The thickness of this uterus will break down and it will form a bleeding, and which will reduce the thickness of the uterus. So that is why you will find the thickness is less over the cycle. Now decrease in progesterone and estrogen. So phase. Follicular phase will start from 6th to 13th day. Primary follicles grow to become a fully mature Graafican follicle. The endometrium. So now what happened? Now this primary after bleeding or after menstrual phase, then formation of primary follicle, and that will grow into mature and Graafian follicle, and because of that endometrium regenerate through proliferation. Now endometrium is the layer of the uterus. We have studied before, like what are the parts which are present in uterus. Endometrium will again regenerate through proliferation. Proliferation is nothing but a continuous division. And what is the hormonal change? FHS, that is a follicle stimulating hormone, and estrogen increases. Now ovulatory phase. Ovulatory phase is the 14th day. The Graafian follicle ruptures and releases the egg. So increase in endometrium thickness means this Graafian follicle will rupture. They will rupture. Inside that there's a ovum that will released. So that time what happened? Luteinizing hormone will be high. Now last one is your luteal phase, that consists from 15 to 28 day. Empty Graafian follicle develops into corpus luteum. If fertilization takes place, the implantation, but if the fertilization is not taking place, this corpus luteum degenerate, and uterine wall rupture and bleeding start, and unfertilized egg is expelled. Now in that stage luteinized hormone FHS decreases, corpus luteum produces progesterone and its level increases, followed by decline if menstrual bleeding. Now we move to very important fetal development, and it's very interesting also. What is that? First of all, fetal development involved, first one is fertilization, cleavage and formation of blastula. Now then implantation. So what are the process over? We'll see by drawing itself. See, this is oocyte, that is a female gametes. Now sperm enter the ovum, then fertilization takes place and two nucleus, now zygote is formed. Now this is sperm, and this is the reddish one is your female body, and this blue is from the nucleus from the male. Now as this form, they will get fused, and after that what happened? What a cleavage? Cleavage is the division taking place in the zygote. So there's a first cleavage. What is cleavage? A division. As the division takes place, it will divide, and again these two cells will again divide and will form foam. So this way it get repeated, and over a time what happened? This stages, this is 4 cell stages, then it moves to the 8 cell stages, that is called morula. Then after that what happened? There's a blastocele. Blastocele is the liquid space which are present, and this is the formation of layer blastocyst. Now we will move to this blastocyst. See, the first cleavage takes place about 30 hours. There is a time duration after fertilization, and cleavage is a series of rapid mitotic division. Very important. What are the division taking place? Mitotic division of the zygote to form many celled blastula, which comprises of outer layer. So this is a structure which consists of smaller cells and an inner cell mass of larger cell. Now implantation, very important. What are implantation? At this time only that moment decide whether the it is going to give birth to baby or a abortion. At certain stages there will be abortion. Why? Because the improper implantation of this zygote. Now blastocyst, that is fertilized egg, reaches the uterus and gets implanted in the uterus. The process of attachment of the blastocyst to the uterine wall, which wall? It is the endometrium, is called implantation, and the fertilized egg becomes implanted in about 6 to 7 days after fertilization. Now we move to gastrulation, the transformation of blastula into gastrula, and the formation of primary germ layer, that is ectoderm, mesoderm, endoderm. So what are the germ layer? Germ layer is nothing but they are the layer that will give rise to organ in future. So that is why it is called germ layer. By rearrangement of the cells is called gastrulation. This takes place after the process of implantation from cleavage to blastocyst formation. Now organogenesis. Beforely we have mentioned that this germ layer will give rise to organ. So after gastrulation there is a process called organogenesis. The establishment of the germ layer, namely ectoderm, mesoderm, endoderm, initiates the final phase of embryonic development. And during organogenesis, the various organs of the fetus are established from the different germ layer attaining a functional state. Now, what are formation of placenta? Placenta is a very important question. Why? Because they will ask what is the role of placenta, what are the function of placenta. They ask this such questions in board. Now, placenta is a disc shaped structure attached to the uterine wall and is a temporary association between the developing embryo and maternal tissue. It allows the exchange of food material, diffusion of oxygen, excretion of nitrogen waste, and elimination of carbon dioxide. Obviously, the fetus inside the mother body is a living organism, so excretion is always taking place. The breathing and release of carbon dioxide, nitrogen waste, that all takes place through this placenta only. A cord containing blood vessel that connects the placenta and the fetus is called umbilical cord. The connection between the placenta and the fetus is called umbilical cord. What a pregnancy! It is a timed period during the embryo attend its development in the uterus. Means the time period between the embryo and the development in uterus, like embryo to the whole baby, that period is called pregnancy. And normally the period takes place for 280 days. During pregnancy, the uterus expand up to 500 times of its normal size. Imagine the size of the uterus, 500 times of the normal uterus. Now, what is parturition? Parturition is the expulsion of a young one from mother's uterus at the end of gestation. Oxytocin from the posterior pituitary stimulates the uterine contracts and provide force to expel the baby from the uterus. So, what are the hormone which expel the baby? That is oxytocin. The ejection of milk is stimulated by posterior pituitary hormone oxytocin. So this oxytocin which help, there's a two function. One is expel of baby, another one is the ejection of milk, which is necessary for the baby feeding. The milk produced from the breast during the first 2 to 3 days childbirth is called colostrum. This colostrum is very important. Why? Because it has a immunity, that is provide the immune substances and provide immunity to the newborn, which is essential for the body. And now you can see the video of the development of the fetus, and please subscribe my channel. Thank you for watching my video. And if you have any doubt regarding the subject or regarding any other subject, please put it in the comment.